Hi, Crystal Rose official and indifferential film. Hi, Film Girl Forever, Patrick Thomas. How's everybody doing on this wonderful, beautiful Saturday in Atlanta? Hey, Deidre McDonald, good to see you. I'm excited. I got my Christmas sweater on with tassels and all kind of stuff. You don't want to see everything. But it says just chilling. That's what it says. So that's kind of my frame of mind for today. And just glad to have y'all with me. Glad you took some time on a Saturday. I'm really excited. Inger, my niece. How you doing? Thank you, Inger, for joining us. And we're going to hang in just a little bit. Patrick, give my love to Park. This is for him, for his next career in front of your camera, right? So thank you, everybody. We're just going to let the thread populate a little bit as we invite our guests to come. Once we get a little bit past the hour. Hope everybody's gotten their Christmas shopping done. If you're doing that. I haven't done very much, just a few things online. So I know that's kind of part of what we're just doing these days in pandemic times, you know. Hey, Ria, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. But yeah, so today is a good day to not only shop, but if you're in Georgia, it's a great day to vote. If you haven't voted yet and you want to be an early voter, then today is that kind of day. Get out there because it won't be much longer to be able to get this early vote in before January 5th. It's important that everyone exercise their right to vote, and the numbers need to be really the same as they were for the presidential race. This upcoming race is just that important. So, yeah, Inger says done. Yeah. And yeah, Ria, I'm glad you like my sweater. Let me see if I can let you see a little bit more. It says just chilling. So, this is my ugly sweater, so to speak. But I can't get it too ugly because, you know, I can't do too tacky. That's just not my thing. But I like this one. I like this one. I pull it out every now and then. Diva Tyler, thank you for joining us. Appreciate seeing you, and it was great being a part of your interview opportunity, your show yesterday in telling my story. So thank you very much. Um, you're doing good work, and I'm just glad to be in the number with the folks that you are exposing and giving an opportunity to tell more about what it is that they do. We're doing similar work because that is certainly what we try to do with BronzeLens Live, which is give people a behind the scenes look at some of the great people that are in this industry and in our community as well, because being a part of a community is absolutely important. So our guests have joined us, and hopefully more will join us soon. So I am going to open it up and go live. I'd like to introduce you all to Selah Jones and her mom, Jone-Marie Jones. And there they are.
Hi.
Hey, ladies. Oh, this is so precious. I love it. I am so happy. I wore my Christmas sweater just for you, Selah. Just want you to know you got me in the Christmas spirit. So how are you today?
I'm great. Amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so cute, somebody said here. Mom, how you doing?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's my delight. You know, Selah, I've known your mom and dad since before they were a couple.
Really?
I remember when they got married. I remember when they first had you and each sister after that. And you have just the prettiest little girls, just the most delightful, beautiful family. You've done a great job, Mom.
Thank
Just
you
a
so
great
much.
job.
I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. So with our budding star in the family, star number two, because you know Daddy is star number one. All right, always will be. For those of you that don't know, Selah is the daughter of the amazing trumpeter, horn arranger, Melvin Jones, whom I have loved for many years. Melvin has played on several of my recordings. And if any of you have heard my most recent, My Vote is My Voice, all of the horn arrangements, the trombone, and I think flugelhorn and trumpet were all done by the amazing Melvin Jones, yo daddy. So that's how I first got introduced to you, Selah, and your many skills and talents, because your daddy was always posting something, always.
Yes, you are.
So what is it, Selah, that made you decide that you wanted to act?
Well, I loved acting out characters and singing, especially. So my mom got me an agent, and like all I really had to do was just like tell a story, and she sent it to the agent. And I loved watching like movies with actresses in them, and I would act out characters. My mom points out to me that I would always act out the evil characters. But they're usually
No,
the
you
ones who have the
know,
most,
that's
you
it.
know, they're always the one who has the most drama. So
The most depth,
the most,
right?
yeah.
Well, speaking of acting out characters, let me just share with our audience for a moment some of the things that you've done. Your resume is deeper than most actors and actresses that I know, okay? You have done so much, all right? So, from the standpoint of film, and this is when I was watching and I'm in the theater and I'm like, isn't that Melvin's baby up there on the screen? That was the first time. And I left the theater and had to send a text to your daddy and say, hey, wasn't that your baby? So you've been in Hidden Figures. That's where I first saw you. Christmas on the Square, which is going on now on Netflix. Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square.
Mm-hmm.
The Tiger Rising. Christmas Everlasting on Hallmark Hall of Fame, a TV movie. Envy, a Lifetime Channel TV movie. The Appeal, Cornerstone Media. Those are the films that you've done. But in addition to that, you've been on episodic television. You've been in The Haunted. That was a pilot for Sci-Fi Universal Cable Network. Star, directed by Lee Daniels on Fox. We saw that. I saw you. I'm like, this baby is everywhere. Intentions. You've been in Intentions as a principal role, and Stargirl, supporting role. You sing, you dance, you model, you play piano, you play viola, you do robotics and coding. This is a brainy girl, y'all. She's just not all look. You've been in various commercials, and I just love everything that you've done with an amazing depth of career at 10 years old. Is that right?
Yeah.
10 years old. My. So, Mommy, once Selah decided that this is something that she wanted to do, what did that take on your part? Because it's not like she can drive herself to audition, before pandemic and everybody was doing everything, on video. But some of those things I know you had to go to and you had to be present. So what is that like, and also raising two other daughters while nurturing her career? Tell me what that's been like.
So when Selah was little, she was an interesting little baby. She would, as she mentioned, watch TV, watch movies, and act out the characters. And I was just amazed at how well she could memorize a whole scene of every character in the movie. And I'm like,
Wow.
how does that memory, my memory is not that great. So I was like, well, maybe we should try this acting thing. And at this point, she was only 4. And I didn't know anything about it. Acting was relatively new to Georgia.
Yes.
And so I just kind of looked around, Better Business Bureau for reviews on different agents. And I just reached out to a particular agent who wasn't even taking new people, new clients, just for advice, because I was like, I think she'd be good at this, and she seems to want to do it, but I don't know where to go. Fortunately, I got with East Coast Talent. Barbara Garvey is amazing. She signed her right away. She's like, I'm going to sit on her for a little bit, but when she turns 5, we're really going to start pushing. And she did immediately. Within the first couple of months, she booked right away. Hidden Figures, Hidden Figures star. She did commercials and all of that. But I had no idea that it was going to be as in-depth. Going to, like when she filmed Hidden Figures, she had to be out of school off and on for over a month. And she was going, it was becoming a bit of a problem from a truancy standpoint. I was getting truancy letters and everything, like, hey, this girl, like, she's in kindergarten. And she was ahead of the class, even with her being gone so much. So I was like, well, maybe we just have to revisit it. In her particular case, I know some public schools are able to work with that a little bit better, but especially now with acting being so prevalent in Georgia. But back then they're like, she's missing too many days. You should probably yank her to homeschool her. I was like, I'm not doing that. And so I did switch her to private school just because they were, the school that she goes to was more flexible with her being absent. But I resigned from my job. So I am a
So you are a full-time, what is Chris Kardashian call it, momager? You're a full-time momager?
A full-time momager. And then right after I did that, I had my 3rd child, Solace. And so it has just been rocking and rolling. I've had, I have to yank her out of school. I'll get a call from her agent. Hey, Selah has an audition tomorrow at noon. Oh, okay. So she's yanked out of school tomorrow at noon. One time she got booked for a gig for a TV show, and she had to be in New Orleans the next day. So she had the audition. So I got the call. I was like, all right. So I just packed a bag, grabbed her from after school, and we hit the road to New Orleans, because at this point I still had no idea what time the audition was going to be.
Wow.
On the way back, we found out she booked it, and she had to be back in 3 days for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So you can imagine if I had a job, they'd have canceled me at that
Oh
point.
yes, most definitely. Most definitely. So how do you handle that though, if you get a call and it's an immediate need for Selah, what happens to the other children? What if Melvin is doing some BET explosion or something? How does that work in your family?
So it's interesting that you say that, because before COVID, Melvin was gone like 80% of the time. Traveling, touring, whatever the case may be. And so we don't have any family here in Georgia. So it was kind of just on me. So I'm trying to drag these little kids along. The other 2, hide them. My father in Oklahoma is so supportive. I couldn't have done it without him. So, and as well as I have a godmother here at church that she's just fantastic. And between the 2 of them, I would only call them if it were an absolute emergency that I couldn't somehow, between a babysitter, juggle.
Yes.
And so, like when I had to go to New Orleans, for instance, my dad came down for the second half, and my godmother here went down with me for the first half, so they could keep the other girls in the hotel and tour them through New Orleans. Because I have to be on set with Selah with my eyes on her at all times. I don't take my, but she's a child, and A, it's, law, but B, I just, need to protect my baby.
Absolutely. So you've learned a lot, Mom, just in the process. You're kind of self-taught, that you weren't reading a book or instruction guide on how to manage my baby in this industry.
No, I was learning as I go. It was, from looking up agents, that was just internet research, to the very first audition she had, she bombed. She completely bombed, because I didn't know what we were walking into. But that audition taught me so much. And I was like, okay, bam, I've got it. Next audition, we're prepared. Next audition, she booked Star. Audition after that, she booked Hidden Figures. So she, you know, we were ready. I was like, we got this. We can do it. Always be prepared. You might need to sing. You need to have 5 songs ready to go. You might need to act something out or tell a story. What 3 stories do you know off top? You know, things like that, just to have her prepared, because you just never know what we're walking into.
I love it, Mama. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So Selah, let me ask you, when you booked your very first job, your mama said gig because she's used to talking that jazz music talk stuff.
I am. My bad. You're right.
I heard
my
you.
My father's a musician too, so I've
yes, right?
Everyone on my dad's side, or most.
Yes. But let me see, something's going on. Turn up your volume just a tiny bit for me, if you can.
Sure.
Yeah, just turn your volume up just a bit. So Selah, tell me what it was like. Your mom said you bombed the first audition, went home, learned the lessons, and now I know what to do the next time. So the next time when they told you you got it, how did that feel?
Well, I was like pretty happy. I do remember being really happy. And I also do remember going into the audition. I think they did ask me to sing a song, but like nobody else was prepared to sing a song. And I think that's one of the reasons why I got it.
Points, yes.
But I was really happy, and because it was like my first actual TV show or movie or anything film related. So I was like really, really excited.
Oh my goodness. Baptism by fire. So how did you learn about things like set etiquette? Was that just learning on set, Mom? Did you do any kind of acting class for children or anything like that?
How'd you learn about set etiquette?
Did I even learn stuff?
Right. No, it was just a matter of, trying to pay attention. I didn't want to be that, I grew up doing pageants. And while I didn't do the child pageants, I didn't want to be that stage mom that I would see all the time that's hovering, telling the director how they're going to run their show. And so I just would try to stand back and watch and see what other people that might have been new were doing that were not okay, and see things that were great. And so I, yank her coattail here and there. One of the good things that I appreciate about being on set, since we're learning this, is sometimes the director might tell her something, and she's pretty sharp, but occasionally she might be like, what is he talking about? And I could be there to mouth it to her or translate it to Selah speak, so she could immediately know what he's talking about. And, that was more the younger she was. Now I don't have to tell her anything. She's rocking.
She's telling you a few things, right? So when the director tells you to, stand in a certain place or look a certain way, and I know with episodic television, sometimes you have to do it over and over and over again. You're comfortable with that. You don't have a problem with doing the same thing or saying the same line or holding your face the same way. You don't have any issues with that?
No, I know I used to, because with auditions that we do at home, my mom was always like, okay, we have to do 3 takes, like 3 different ways. And she's like, okay, so this time think about what you could do this line differently. So then I'm kind of used to it with the auditions. So then when the director tells me to do it, I just like instantly know. So I'm like pretty used to it because I know that I'm going to have to do it again. So like in my mind, I just think of what I'm going to do it differently, of how I'm going to do it differently if the director doesn't tell me specific instructions.
Your mom is awesome. Do you know what? Just look at her right now and say, Mom, you are awesome.
Mom, you are awesome.
Thanks.
Because, what I'm saying, Jone, to be that attuned to what the needs are that are on the stage, you see. And so for you, Mom, to be picking up those cues and the directions that the director is giving, and preparing her for that, she's like, well, of course I can do it 3 different ways because my mama already told me 3 different ways. So I love that. I love that kind of preparation that you have made as a discipline for, you know, how she operates at home. And speaking of that, how do you um, carve out time at home if there's a new script like the new one that I just Christmas in the Square? You had quite a bit of dialogue that was just really with you and one other character at some time. And so how do you study for a role in a household with mom, dad, and two little sisters?
Well, my dad has an office upstairs, so we always do the audition there. But how I study is like it usually takes me 3 days. Like on one day, I'm just like reading the lines. The next time I'm actually memorizing them, and then the day after that, I'm really thinking of like how that character that I'm reading off of, like saying the lines for, is feeling, like putting myself in their shoes, like having empathy for them, and like really thinking of how like I would react if I was going through what they were going through, and that just helps me do the lines better.
Absolutely. You sound like a veteran. So by day 3, you're off book, you're off script, you're already infusing into the character to make it real, and you've memorized it, and you're not even looking at words anymore. That's pretty awesome, Selah. That is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So tell me this part here. You were on Star, you were on Hidden Figures. I mean, you came out of the box with these amazing roles. Have you ever met someone and you were like, oh my God, I am meeting blah, blah, blah? Who was that person that you met the first time and you were just like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
So I know my mom was excited when I met Jone-Marie. I was 5, so I barely knew who she was, but I was still really excited to see her. Now, the person I was really excited to see and who I actually knew who she was Dolly Parton. I loved her music so much, and we had just finished, like a few weeks before they told me I got it. We had finished a movie called Dumplin', and it really featured Dolly Parton's music. So I was really excited to see Dolly Parton, and I know my mom was too.
Oh, that is so amazing. I love it. I love it. Did you get a chance to actually interact with her outside of, meeting her on set?
Yes. So I don't know if it was like in between a take or there was like a big break, but in the one of the scenes in Christmas on the Square, there was a bar, and she came in the bar. She was in the bar. And I sat down on her lap, and she pulled you into she pulled me into her lap, and just gave me like a big hug, and she was just like loving on me, giving me hugs and kisses. And what happened is Dolly Parton is very fancy, and she wears these humongous high heels. So I asked, do those hurt? And she's like, no, do you want to try them? I'm like, sure. So for a few minutes, I got to wear Dolly Parton's shoes.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Well, she's a tiny lady anyway, she's a little lady.
Yep.
So, that's awesome. When you were on set, where was that filmed? Was that filmed in Georgia?
Yes. Yeah.
Christmas in the Square was filmed here?
It was at Screen Gems, which is, I think, down around
Lakewood area, right?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Do you find that, so Star was also in Atlanta, right? Well, and Hidden Figures was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you and the people that are listening, the depth of filming that actually takes place here in Georgia, because all of those are major hits. The Netflix hit, certainly, Star as a television series, Hidden Figures as the movie that everybody saw, all filmed in Georgia. And that is so meaningful for people that are interested in getting into this business. Because when we started BronzeLens Film Festival, we realize that there are uh, lots of opportunities, but a lot of people that look like us just aren't even aware of how much is going on right here in this community that they, if they're interested in, they can actually, you know, be a part of and take part in some of the great productions that are taking place. So you have been a part of history, actually, not only with the films that you're doing, but at the timing that you got in. You got into this industry at the age of 4 or 5. And now, like I said, I've got this resume that's just like keeps look at that, look at that, look at that, look at, I'm just saying. That's a lot. That's a lot for one so young. So Mom, what are the, as you grow, do you continue, have you decided to continue to pursue acting? Is that what you want to do, or is there something else that you are interested in?
Well, for me, I don't know that Selah will do this forever. I feel like she will. It just seems something that she was carved for, acting, singing. So from my standpoint, I'm here to help her be the best at whatever she wants to be. And that's the case with all 3 of my girls. I want to be as available as possible to help push them to whatever God's purpose is for them and whatever their heart's desire. In terms of career for me, in that sense, I'm happy being her momager. I learn so much. I'm constantly moving. As a hobby, I design floor plans, and I've done that for years. I've got literally hundreds of them stocked away. But I'm not an architect, so I don't necessarily know how that's going to roll out in terms of a career for me. But if I could find a way to incorporate that on a very flexible level to allow me to still build up my daughters and get them where they need to go, particularly in light of the fact that Melvin is such, he's an artist as well. So his career zigzags him all over the place, and we don't have family here. So I can't be like, hey, Ma, can you keep the kids today while I go do this, that, and the other? So I have to be able to be flexible to manage the 3 of them and their lives in the event that, like he has before, been gone for months.
Yes, I mean, you are so, you are the vital cog. You're the center of the wheel that everything really revolves around. You're the glue, Mom, because everyone kind of depends on you to be in a place so that all these other things can happen. And it is so loving and gracious of you to receive that role and to just fully embrace it for the family. So, you know, hats off to you.
Thank you. I've always known that priority number 1 is family for me. That was instilled in me my whole life. We've always gotten together as even extended family throughout my whole life, twice a year, and on both sides of my family, very close knit. So for me, that's always priority number 1. And if I can just have the best, happy, well-rounded family, I think I'm winning.
Yeah. Yes, I understand. So what about your other daughters? Selah, are your other sisters interested in doing what you're doing?
Yes, very much. They, I think Sarah was actually the first person to say that she wanted to be in movies like me, or like she wanted to be on the TV or something. So my mom did get Sarah into acting, and Solace does it too. Yeah.
We had
How
an
old are
opportunity.
you for the other girls?
We had an opportunity about 2 years ago,
It was in South Carolina.
to do a commercial together as a family, me and the girls. It was a Christmas commercial.
Was it hair?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a hair commercial?
No, that one was it was for a hospital. Hospital? Yeah, hospital actually, but we were in the grocery store, but it was just kind of a spread kindness
And the
thing.
restaurant thing.
We filmed, it was the scene in a restaurant. We filmed it in South Carolina, so we had to go there for a few days.
It was fun though.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
So, yeah, they
yeah.
love acting. I don't
Yes.
think that this is their career as it is, as strongly as I feel like this is what Selah's going to do. I feel like
Yes.
for them, they're like, this is fun. So we'll do it until we grow up big and do whatever else we're going to do.
Yes, yes, yes. And all of the girls have some talent of outside of acting, singing, or some kind of instrument. And I love it. A musical household, that is just so beautiful. Well, most days anyway.
You can imagine it's pretty loud here.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And as Melvin often signs off on his things, Proud Papa. So I know Proud Papa has a lot of music that it's going on, and music coming throughout the house, and his beautiful arrangements that he does for so many artists. And do you ever sit in, Selah, on any of your daddy's sessions while he's recording or while he's working on things? Do you ever sit in on that?
Sometimes, usually Daddy doesn't let me because he locks himself in his office.
Oh
But
my goodness.
one time, I remember this, he actually did let us just sit on, he has 2 chairs in his office. He just let us sit in those 2 chairs. And I think it was for a thing for a church. It was a video for a church. And me and Solace were in the background.
What? In fact, I think I saw you singing at, maybe it's your church, but there was something that your dad posted where you were on the main pulpit, and you were singing, maybe leading a song or something.
Christmas.
Oh, Mary, did you know?
When your daddy played with you.
Yes.
Yes. Was that an awesome experience to play with your dad?
Yes. I honestly thought that I wouldn't be able to sing with my dad actually playing trumpet. But it was an amazing experience, and it was probably one of my favorite performances that I've done.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I feel great when your dad plays when I'm singing too. So I just want you to know we share that in common. He's just that wonderful. Of the movies that you've done, the episodic television that you've done, is there any one that is like your favorite?
Well, let's see. In Star, when I filmed Star, I remember Bella. Bella was young Star and my television sister. So I got to hang out with her a lot. And she made me very, very happy. And then in Hidden Figures, like, it's not really episodic, but it was something that really stuck out to me. My really my siblings in these, but my television brother, we hung out a lot. We had dressing rooms that were right next to each other, so we would go hang out in each other's dressing rooms, and it was super fun.
So wait a minute, back up. You had a dressing room of your own?
Yes, in a trailer. There was what was it called? Honey Wagon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honey Wagon.
Honey Wagon. Yeah, so it wasn't like one of these big grand dressing rooms, but it like had a couch and a counter and a sink usually. So yeah, we would hang out there when we weren't on set.
I love it. You realize now the experiences that you've had are so special and different from kids that are not doing what you do. I know actors that are background on things that are always wishing they were in a trailer, you know. And so I love it that you had your own, as well you should, with your mom there, and that also keeps you safe and protected. I feel you, Mom, because that's like going to be the most important thing in my head, not only that she's learning lines, but that she is safe and protected at all times, right?
It's been really nice. Fortunately, she hit the ground running. So with all of her projects, with the exception of maybe one, she'll have her own dressing room and kind of be protected and be able to rehearse on her own and things like that. She's always excited when she gets flowers in her dressing room.
Oh my goodness.
Things like that.
Ruined already. I know. I got it.
I know, right? I'm like, oh my goodness. But I really want to make sure that she, kind of like what you said, that she realizes these are unique experiences, and she makes such wonderful friends on set, as you mentioned, Bella and Trey, that she's still friends with to this day. And even Bella, she ended up on several projects with in different capacities, just by happenstance. So they always it's always nice when she shows up at auditions or on set and she already has friends there.
Oh yes, oh yes, I totally agree. So have you done anything during this most recent time of the pandemic?
Honestly, I think I have done more things during the pandemic than um, in my regular life without COVID. I have probably been literally doing something every week, an audition, filming, something. I just filmed an audition the day before yesterday.
You have another one today.
And I have another one to do today.
I love it. I love it. So, Mom, are you comfortable then with on set if for things that you have booked? Are you comfortable with, on set procedures and everything, insofar as protecting, being safe from COVID?
I am. What I appreciate, what I appreciate is, I'll tell you, she just filmed a TV show a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, and they COVID test every day or every few days. Her school, fortunately, also COVID tests them every week. So, and then I also have to get COVID tested because I'm going to be there. So I remember one day she got COVID tested 3 times in one day.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, I feel safe. Everyone is, you might bring whatever mask, but they switch it out and you're required to wear N95s. And then dealing with her as a child, the rule is they have to wear a mask and a face shield if they're going to talk to her. So I do feel like that she's protected and that they're really being safe as they possibly can on set. They have people design or there specifically to keep people from gathering too close together, move apart, spread apart. There's no touching things. People serve it. One person controls each little area. So I really appreciate the precautions that they're taking.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So when it comes to then going back to school, do you have to do anything special if you've been on set and your school knows? Do you have to do anything special to be, or is school all virtual? I don't know whether you're doing virtual school or in person.
My school is in person, but when I'm on set and have breaks and in my honey wagon, they usually send the work that they're doing in class that day for me to do in the trailer.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And then, like I said, our school does testing every week. So they know pretty quickly if anybody has COVID, but they also take every precaution and, everyone has their own desks. It's a 4-foot desk, 6 feet apart from everyone. Lunch is outside, individually packed and served, temperature checks throughout the day, not just in the morning. So they're really, and there's many more procedures that they're taking. So I'm really proud of her school. So even though she does step out to go film because they've been so cautious on set and they're cautious at school, they all feel pretty safe and protected.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, Mom, before I open it up for questions, let me just ask you to maybe summarize a little bit. As a momager, what advice would you give to a parent who has a child that is interested or has seen Selah's work and says, "Oh, I could do that"? What advice would you give to the parents of children that are interested in doing this? Mr. Brad James says, "Hi, y'all."
Hi. I would say there's two things. Before you even get into it, some children are amazingly talented and have the best ability to memorize lines, the best ability to convey an attitude, a feeling. And as great as they may be, they may or may not have the temperament. Temperament is just as important as knowing your stuff. So if they're not going to follow directions well, or know when to kind of be quiet, or know when to speak, if they can't settle down when you need them to settle down, because at the end of the day, it is still a job. They expect you to be a child on the one hand in terms of how you come across, but they expect you to kind of be a little adult when it's, okay, sit still, these are the instructions, follow it, A, B, C, D, E, and then get her done. So you know your child if they're going to be able to follow instructions and act on a dime. So that's the first thing to consider. Second, research. There's lots of great agencies. Of course, Selah's with East Coast Talent Agency, Barbara Garvey, they're amazing. But there are other good agencies as well. If anybody is asking you to pay them ahead of time, that's not the way to go. There's no money up front. Your agent gets paid when you get paid. But that includes residuals. Even after you've done the job and been paid for the job, when you get residuals later, pay your agent. Another thing is you have to have the flexibility to show up the next day, sometimes the same day. I got a call, Selah needs to get her COVID test today by 4 o'clock. Okay, it's noon, but we'll work that out. No, not today, but that happened last weekend, the week before. Mm-hmm. So just to have that flexibility to be able to drop whatever you're doing and go. And that's probably the hardest part. If they're going to be really serious about this and do well, you need to be able to, if you can't, have a trusted representative that also knows what's what, mm-hmm. To represent your child. Selah doesn't have a manager right now because I'm her manager. I haven't seen a need to get outside sourcing for that as of yet. Now she may blow up and become crazy busy beyond my abilities with my other 2 children, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, just roll with it. I just say sometimes also parents will push their child to do something that they really don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And I tell Selah all the time, the moment this isn't fun anymore, we're done. Mm-hmm. And to be able to let go of that. But don't jump in unless you're going to fully commit. It's not something that you can have a toe in and, do well.
You're absolutely right. It's the commitment. Even, on the adult side, I was, in my career years ago, I had started doing auditions and going to things for commercial work. And, but I was working a job. Uh-huh. So there was one point when my job was kind of free. I could kind of be where I wanted to be. And then I got a promotion. And that promotion said, folks are looking for you to be at that desk every day. So when I get something that says you need to be at audition at 10 o'clock in the morning, I can't make it. I've got a meeting. So then they'll call you the next time. We need you this afternoon. Can you show up at 4? Got to pick up the kids and so then just stop calling, because I could never be that spontaneous as an adult to just be able to go. So the fact that you can do that with her, the fact that her school gives you that flexibility, I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I'm just so happy for you, so happy for your career. Selah, is there anything that you would like to share with our audience as your advice for one that is interested in doing what you're doing?
Well, I would, like my mom said, really just commit to it. Like, I have to say that I'm not a big fan of actually doing the audition, but I really love actually filming. And my mom does say that if you want to get it, then you actually have to do the audition. Yeah, it's like you can't eat meat without cooking it, really. So
you can't just skip over that.
You cook it.
There is a process. Well, you have certainly done well for yourself, for your family. You bring honor to the Jones family at such a young age. You bring honor to your mom and dad and to everyone that knows you. We're just so proud of you. And you're my youngest guest I've ever had on BronzeLens Live. I've had other producers, directors, and stuff, but I wanted you, Selah, because I think you're very special, and your mom and dad are just very special people, and I think the career path that you have now is just so wonderful. I'm very proud of you. Just know that.
Yes, I have to give kudos to Melvin. I mean, I resigned from my job, right? Well, not everybody can do that, to just be like, I'm done working so I can follow the babies.
Yes.
And he works very hard. And so I
really
appreciate his efforts that allow me to be able to do that. So in that sense, it's completely a team effort.
Yes, yes. Just in time, because Melvin's on the thread now, so he got to hear all of that. So we've got time for maybe 2 questions, maybe 3. If anyone has a question for Selah or her mom, if you want to type it into the chat, then I can see it. Some of the people that are here, Melvin Jones said, yep. He's agreeing. You've got lots of folks from Memphis that are in the thread that I've seen. Lots of people from Memphis that are letting us know the Melvin Jones family members are logging in there. Any questions that you have for Selah or her mom? Dr. Doting Mom. Yeah, that's someone that's on. I can't tell what their name is. I'm a friend of your grandmother, Gwendolyn. She's so proud of you. That's from Nettie Crawford said that. Because I remember you said you can't really see these comments that well, Jone. I wore the glasses for both of us. Okay. These are my new glasses, by the way. I just got them yesterday. And,
I just got some new glasses too, and they're about that same shape.
Yeah.
So she had to point them out. She's like, "Have you noticed anything different about me?"
Okay, then. Well, if there are no questions, I guess you must have covered everything so well. And you did, Jone. You really, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Here's something that says, how do you balance practicing your parts with schoolwork? I know that you are an exceptional student. How do you do it all? And that came from S. Jones Jazz.
Well, usually I do have a lot of homework when I get home, but then sometimes an audition just like pops up. So I have to do my homework and definitely practice my lines. But usually we do it the next day if there's like a really like short deadline. We do it the next day, but my mom makes sure that I'm like all focused in the lines. Like the audition I did a few days ago, we kept pushing it off for like a month. And
not quite that long, but it was like, a while.
It was a while. But we were pushing it off, and then like she really made sure that in all that time that I did push it off, I was like really focused on the lines. So.
And we travel, you know, in Atlanta a lot. She doesn't go to school near our house. So we spend a good bit of time on the highway. So I will bring the lines and say, you're sitting here, read through this. Just read it, sink it in, read it, sink it in. You don't have to, you know, say them out loud. Just let it rest in your brain as we're going from point A to point B. Or if, you know, there's just a quiet moment between a transition or something. Look at your lines, And then schoolwork is done immediately as soon as she comes home. So nothing will get done until that gets done. That's the priority.
Very good, very good, very good. I like that. Dr. Doting Mom says, when, if we're ready, can you help manage mine?
Well, you're free to reach out.
But would you consider, as Selah gets older and, you know, her career increases, or, you know, would you consider, has that ever been a thought, to being a manager of young talent?
You know, that's something that I've thought about and that several friends have asked me about. Someone even asked me about being an agent. I don't want to be an agent. Barbara, her agent, does a phenomenal job, and she's crazy busy, and I'll leave that to her. But in terms of managing, yeah, that is something that I'm interested in. Just depending. I don't want to overload myself because, as I said, my own family is my top priority. But as my schedule opens up, for sure, I would definitely take on
the younger ones get older. Yes. Okay. I might sign up for that myself. Okay. Sandals and Pearls says, how do you manage Selah's path in the midst of political and racial issues?
So that is very interesting because there's a lot of stuff that I want to post that I don't post. You know, because of your audience. Now, does that mean ignore social justice and things like that? No, not at all. You always have to stand up for what's right. And I'm always cognizant of what's going on set, temperaments there. There are certain things that, though we haven't experienced yet, that her agent knows that we just won't do. We don't delve into political commercials, things like that, because those things have kind of been out there, but that's not something that we're going to be a part of on either side. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm not doing this, but I'll do this. I just want her to stay away from those things. Now, nonprofit things that are about supporting the community at large, hands down, yes. And we'll even do that for free, more than likely. But, you know, it just kind of depends on what it is. But it can be difficult. It can be challenging. But you just have to, the same balance has to come in roles that I think might be too mature for her, or have language that I don't appreciate.
Yes.
I don't know, you know, the TV show Star, that was 1,000% inappropriate for at the time, 5-year-old, right? But they were cautious about many things in terms of what they saw when they were on set. And sometimes we over-explain. So I was like, well, what do you think was going on? Before I just offer this full explanation, giving her more information than really she was.
She really needed to know. Right. Okay. Joanne Kimbrough says, greetings from Oklahoma. Love you, baby. Diva Tyler says, you are my new favorite star. Felicia Coleman says, what's next? What's going on that you can share?
Well, what can I share? I honestly don't know what I can.
I know it's challenging. You know, she did just film a movie, a TV show, and 2 movies and a TV show. They aren't big roles, but they're notable roles. You know, they're like the scene is around her, but it's not, you know, an ongoing thing. But she hopes for what?
I hope for a big role, a leading role, in 2021, just like a leading role. And I'm also really crossing my fingers for Broadway.
What? We're moving to New York, fam?
No, we're not moving to New York. Maybe for a few months. But
you never know.
Right.
That would be awesome. I think if I could do it all over, that's what I would do. Broadway. I love going to New York, and this is the first winter I haven't been in New York in a few years, because I go every year to look at the decorations and look at theater. I love live theater, musicals most of all. And I always sit there and say, man, if I had just known that this world existed as a kid, this is what I would have wanted to do. You know, I just didn't know. So I would love to see that. If you ever get to Broadway, I'm coming to see you, Selah.
That's what was so great about Christmas on the Square was, you know, I grew up with musicals. Me and my mom used to watch them like crazy. And she got to use her top 2 favorite talents, singing as well as acting.
Yes.
And that Miss Debbie Allen, woo, I was amazed to meet her. It was like a dream. But when I tell you she directed that scene like she was directing Fame.
Yes.
She did. I was like, and she got there. I mean, she was so sweet, but she was tough. So she was like, okay, Selah, you're going to do this. Bop, bop, bop. Turn here. Grab this. Put this down. Turn. Reach. Smile. Sip. Toast. You know, and it's like, how did you? I don't think she can get all that, because she went through the whole scene. Exactly when to grab this and turn and do all these things. And I was like, did she get that? I didn't get that.
She was amazing. Y'all have got to see Christmas in the Square. You've got to see it. It's on Netflix now. Make it part of your holiday viewing if you have not already, between now and Christmas or even next week, because it's absolutely marvelous. That bar scene, man, that girl handled that thing like an old hat, you know, like you've been doing this for years. Well, yes, you've been doing it for years. So
newly a bartender, though. That's a new thing.
I just like that was so amazing. So that made me very happy. I think there's one more question on here. S. Jones says, y'all are a wonderful example of what Black excellence looks like in a positive and grounded household. I love y'all and thank you for being an example of how to do it right.
Oh, thanks, Sean. That's Sean Jones,
Yeah.
trumpet.
Yes, yes, yes. Here's the other question. Have you ever been offered a job that you refused, and why?
Well, I have been offered a lot of jobs. I haven't refused them, but I know my mom did. I got an offer for touring for, wasn't it Broadway? I think it was.
Well, it was suggested an audition to go on tour with a show, and I was like, I am not in a space right now for us to go on tour. So we can't do that right now, because that would have been for several months touring, and the babies were just too little.
Yes.
And so I'm like, we're not gonna, maybe in a couple of years, but I need to get them settled.
Yes, yes, yes. Good call, Mom. That's it still has to come back to you. I told you you are the center of that wheel that everything rolls around. So, you know.
But she would have been fabulous. She would have been amazing, I'm sure. It was Mom.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, we certainly look forward to hearing much more about your career. Mom and Dad, please keep me informed because I'd love to continue to share that. Selah's exploits and accomplishments with our audience. That would just be my delight. Additionally, I just hope that your entire family has a wonderful Christmas. It's a great time that you can just be together. We may not be able to travel as we always like to, but certainly to be together is important. This year, I guess, more than others in the past, because so many people have lost folks in their family or their friends. And so it's just going to be a very special Christmas. And one of the things that everybody can do at home while you're at home baking or wrapping gifts or whatever is turn on your Netflix and watch Dolly Parton's Christmas in the Square, because that's where you're going to see our very special guest, Selah Jones. And if you happen to be able to pull up Hidden Figures, if you got the DVD somewhere, and you forgot if you saw her, go back and look again so that you can see her, because she's
Christmas
absolutely
Everlasting
beautiful.
on Hallmark is playing as well.
Christmas Everlasting is on Hallmark right now. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So my love to your entire family. Hugs.
Thank you. We love you too. It's so good seeing you.
It's great to see you. Proud Papa, thank you so much for making the hookup for me to be able to do this. Selah, we love you, want the very best for you, and pray that God will continue to bless you and direct your career path, and to bless your amazing momager, because she's so awesome. Didn't we say that earlier? Your mom is awesome. And thank y'all for being with us. Good luck on the, break a leg on your next audition, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you joining us. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. This is our last BronzeLens Live of 2020. When we next see you, it will be in 2021, this new year that we have all been waiting for, because we can't wait to get out of 2020.
Speak life into that year.
Okay? We can't wait to get out. We just want to see it in the rearview mirror. So we thank everybody for your support over the entire pandemic season and before that, and continue to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and sign up for our newsletter at bronzelens.com, and you'll get a notice of all of the new things that we have coming out. And then check me out. What? Check me out on Tuesday on Facebook Live at 7:30. I'm doing a little musical piece with my friend Phil Davis. Phil is the collaborator producer I've worked with more than anybody, and so we're going to do something just the two of us. And then most of all, please go vote if you're in Georgia. Go vote. And continue to wash your hands, mask up, and just stay safe. Love you. Take care, everybody. Bye.